Okay, scrappers. Today it's the iMac attack. I just done a pickup from a school. This is one of 3 schools combined, so I've still got 2 more schools to go and pick up from. But it looks like it's going to be another batch of these old iMacs. This is one of the last schools, I think, that have got these iMacs. So I might keep them because they're starting to get pretty scarce. And yeah, well, I'll have a little. Just wanted to have a little look at what I actually ended up getting. I think I got at least 1 box of these Acer Aspires again. It's just a very common laptop from schools at the moment. So inside they got the Intel Atom. They do take a little bit to scrap, but and they're, you know, pretty cheap anyway, so they're not really worth trying to sell or anything like that. And obviously because they're from schools, I like to scrap them out completely. Got the complimentary 2 printers as usual. You know, we get some circuit boards, but the main thing we want today, I want to check out these iMacs. And yeah, I've got a feeling there's going to be a lot more coming in the next couple of weeks, so I might just test out these ones. I'm not sure how many I got. I think I got a dozen or so, and I'll probably put these in storage. Not that I've got much room at the moment with all that surveillance stuff I've still got to scrap out, but yeah, I'll just take it all out and have a look at what we ended up getting. Got a lot of cable, mountains of cable, and also data cable, a few odd racks, a bit of scrap steel. Got a couple of servers blades and a lot of server racks. Just going to go as scrap steel. There's a nice little switch there. We'll get a good board out of that. I'll sort these Mac keyboards out, and I'll keep the best ones. Try and match up with the iMacs themselves. Hey, well, here we go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 iMacs, and so more than I thought. You know, it's funny, you know, when you're picking it up and you're taking it away, you're not focusing on, you know, what's there. You're just trying to get it out of there as quick as possible and pick everything up and try not to trample over any students or anything like that, you know. So 17 iMacs today, and as I said, there's actually a lot more to come. So at least it gives me a little bit of a chance now to go through these, and I'm pretty sure they're all going to work anyway. So just got to work out what to do with them. I'll check all the screens, make sure that they're all okay. Any broken or any scratched up screens, I'm not going to bother with. I'm just going to scrap them out. But you know, because they're all-in-one PCs, they're quite a heavy PC, and you know, they've got the nice aluminium base here. And yeah, they're a good little PC to keep, because they're starting to get old now. You know, I kind of recommend, if you've got the space, to keep a few of these, you know, or as many as you can if they're in good condition, because they're going to become a little bit of collectibles in themselves. You know, it might still take quite a while. I mean, sure, you can sell them as they are right now, and people will still use them as, you know, old Mac computers, but you know, probably another 5 or 10 years time, these will start to be sought after, because the kids of today that have used these in their schools, well, they'll be the collectors of tomorrow, and so they're the ones that are going to be you know, like wanting to you know, reminisce and, you know, have one of these to remember when they were in primary school. So yeah, and I didn't get all the cables and all that today. I got some of the keyboards. I've got better condition keyboards than these, but in the next batch at the other school, the tech's going to bring over the cables and everything. So, but I do have a lot of these iMac cables and mouse and any other connections. So yeah, that was pretty good. Also got some really good little Cisco firewalls. Really nice, these ones. They're only, you know, pretty small, but they're going to have, you know, really good Cisco boards inside. You know, as I keep saying, anything Cisco is, you know, worth scrapping. And I got that other switch. I got, not sure how many laptops are in here. Looks like there's about 20 laptops in here. So yeah, it's all these Acer Aspires. So, you know, I've already got probably about 50 of them sitting in the garage. So I'm not really sure, you know, I just don't have time to scrap them out. And so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. You know, I might even, yeah, you know, I can sell them like this to another recycler, and he'll just buy complete laptops, but he doesn't pay much. But I might scrap them out just when I have got nothing better to do, probably when I come back from holidays. But yeah, ended up getting 2, 4, 6, 7 PCs, which is good. I got a wheelbarrow full of cable, a lot of data cable from servers, but a lot of power supplies and just general PC cables, you know. So overloaded wheelbarrow full of cable. So that's a good little cash flow. These data cables, you know, because you know, we've kind of worked out that the gold pins in here, you know, apart from them being really hard to get out, they're really low value in gold recovery, so it's really not worth. I've stopped. These are the only pins that I've stopped actually taking off because yeah, just too hard to get out, too time consuming, and the gold recovery result from these pins is really low. So just not worth the effort. So you're better off just selling it as is. And so I don't, because it's data cable, this just goes straight into my, this happens to be my low grade insulated wire bin. So I'm just going to throw all this data cable straight in there along with ribbon wire. Here's a, you know, another version of grey one that I was removing from IP cameras the other day. So yeah, I just leave them like that, and you know, just save time cutting the cords, and it's only low grade wire, so you're better off just leaving the plugs on there and just selling it as low grade along with your ribbon wire, you know, Christmas lights and stuff like that. So I'll go through all this, get rid of all this data cable, and then sort through you know, because I keep all these power supply units. So here's the Cisco ones for those Cisco routers. I might match up a few of them, but I keep a lot of power supply units to go through. And you know, one day I'm going to have a big listing on eBay selling just power supply units. I've got barrels, buckets, like wheelie bins like this. I think I've got 6 or 7 full from power supply units and different data, different good cable. I get a lot of cable that's brand new and a lot of plugs and connectors brand new in packet. So I do keep a lot of that, especially if it's got part numbers. I got 2 server blades, really good server blades. The most exciting thing, apart from getting the CPUs and the motherboard and all that from it, and hopefully some good copper heat sinks, are these power supply units. Now, I've mentioned probably in my last server scrap that I sell the power supply units. All I do is I plug, whilst you need to keep the power supply units inside the blades in order for it to operate. If you take them out and plug them in, they won't work. They need to be inside the actual blade, and then it will show, then the fans turn on and everything turns on, and then that shows that it works. But I've been selling these on eBay in the last few weeks. I've probably sold about $400 worth of just power supply units, you know, and I'm getting, like, some of them are getting $80 each. and so they really sell well, power supply units. So you get really good value. So even if these sell for like $50 each, well, there's $100, there's $100 just, you know, already, and then I can scrap out the rest, and I don't have to worry about you know, trying to maximize value. It's not worth selling the whole complete unit. Sometimes they sell, but because there's so many components in there, so many things could be wrong with it, so I'm not prepared to risk it, you know, and then shipping it out by courier and then having it shipped back to me and me losing out on postage and stuff like that. So no, better off just to scrap server blades out. That way I'm not storing a whole heap of server blades, and I've still got the CPUs that I can sell. Sometimes I can sell the whole heat sinks as well, and depends on the RAM. Sometimes you can sell the RAM. So you get enough value out of the whole complete unit than trying to just sell the whole complete unit, you know. In here I just got a box of more cables. This looks like a graphics, yeah, video card. These are just external hard drives for those Intel iMac hard drive. Okay, so these are for these iMacs, some external. I'm not sure why they needed external hard drives. Maybe just for extra, you know, space, I don't know, but I'll work it out. And still getting these Cisco things. They're really good, got really good slot cards in there, and the wireless what are they called, I can't remember now, thin clients. They're like a little PC kind of thing. But yeah, that was it. So that's the Apple iMac attack. And I thought, you know, I just went to this school, I thought I'd do a little video on, you know, the end result of the pickup. It's in between, you know, you've seen all my surveillance equipment and all that I've got to do. So I've got a lot of stuff going on at the moment, so I probably really didn't need this stuff right now. But that's just how it goes. I mean, you know, if these all worked, if I, you know, could sell them, you know, I'd probably get $70-80 each for them, and there's 17 here, so there's big value here. But because they're from a school, I prefer not to sell them, and just want to make sure the hard drives are completely wiped out, and I want to keep these as collectibles for the future. And I reckon one day I'll be able to get $300 or $400 each for them again. You never know. But it'll be fun scrapping them out. They're a bit of a pain to scrap out, but you know, but the worst things to scrap out are these little, you know, little miniature laptops. You know, I wish I could pass these on to a third world country, but you know, don't know if I'm going to have all the power supplies, and it's mostly because of the data that's on them. I like to destroy all the data, so, but yeah, and I guess probably lastly, you know, I'm going to get people to say, oh, you know, how do you get all this stuff from schools and stuff? Well, you know, I've mentioned many times, you know, you advertise and you talk to technicians. They're the people you got to advertise to. There's no point just going up to the reception of the school and saying you want to recycle e-waste, and you're not going to get very far. You've got to actually get in contact with the actual technicians. And you know, if you're you know, depends on how you get your scrap. If you're a bit of a dumpster diver and you like getting your scrap and stuff from dumpsters, well, you know, maybe consider, you know, advertising to recycle e-waste and all kinds of rubbish, like become a rubbish collector kind of thing, like get yourself some bins and you know, service residential homes, even if not businesses, and you know, just pick up junk, and you can get paid to pick up the junk, and then at the same time when you bring it all back, you get a chance to go through it and pick out all the good stuff. But if you're into e-waste and electronics and stuff, and you've got ideas on what to do with it, whether to resell or scrap or gold recovery or what, you know, I really recommend going out and advertising and just making up flyers, go door to door, But set up your little business first, you know, and look at all the local laws in your area. Every area is different, and just get out there and stuff, because, you know, for those that are dumpster diving and stuff, well, you know, that's risky, and it's mostly people's real, you know, true rubbish. And so if you want to get good stuff on a regular basis, this is the way to do it. You know, go out there and, you know, become a recycler, or become a rubbish removalist, you know, and that way people are, you know, if you're e-waste, you can pick it up for free. But in rubbish, if you get skip bins, you can actually charge, and all you need to do is just undercut your local skip bin providers and do it a lot cheaper till you get yourself up off the ground. And you know, but keep in mind that if you are into scrap and all that sort of stuff, that when you're bringing that skip back with all the rubbish in there, there's going to be lots of bits and pieces that you can scrap out, you can resell, good furniture, scrap metal, all that kind of thing that, you know, is a bonus. And so, you know, so all I wanted to say is just don't get too carried away with, you know, and stuck in the mode of picking up scrap off the street or in dumpsters, because you're missing out on really good stuff. And sure, you might pick up something, oh look, you know, we picked up this from a dumpster and we sold it for you know, $100. Okay, well, that's fine, but you know, that's once every now and then. Or even if you pick up something like that every day, you got to go through dumpsters and stuff. It's I think there's a bigger opportunity out there that I've been, you know, trying to promote for 2 or 3 years now with people that are interested in scrap. Is, you know, yep, you know, it's fun going out and picking from dumpsters or picking up off curbsides and stuff like that. That's more of a hobby. You know, if you want to start making a little bit more money, unless you're doing YouTube videos and that's where your money is coming from, you know, really focus on advertising to go and get your e-waste, and you're going to get better stuff. You're going to get high-end stuff. Like, you know, if I was more of a computer technician, like this is a Sunfire X4200. You know, I mean, this might sell for $700-800 if I could, you know, if I was a bit of a technician and I could work out, test out everything. You know, this might be worth $700. But because I'm not that technically minded, and warranty is just too much of a problem, you know, I've just set up my own system to scrap stuff out. But, you know, I just really want to encourage people that are looking at making extra money to, yeah, like I say, just don't, you know, get yourself stuck into the same system of what you're doing right now. And, you know, spread your wings and look at a bit more higher level, and, you know, and take it to that next step, because, you know, there's only so you know, so much or so long that you can actually go and jump into dump masters. You know, once you stop doing that, and you're risking, because you don't know what's in that dump master. Someone could have thrown in a bag of asbestos, a chemical that they just wanted to get rid of. It might not be that company, but if you can access a dump master, so can other people in the streets, you know. And so someone might be driving around with a bag of really deadly stuff in their boot, in their trunk, if you like, and they say, oh, there's a dump master, or I know there's a warehouse that have got an open dump master, right? So I'm going to go to that dumpster and I'm going to dump this bag of stuff in there, you know. And so you just don't know what you're climbing into. And, you know, it's a bit better on the curbside, street, or general household rubbish. You know, some guys go around trash picking and they just go through like rubbish bins on the street, and they'll say, oh yeah, well, you know, oh, there's a power supply, I'll take that. You know, that's cool, you know. That's a little bit different. But dump masters, you know, it's industrial. People assume that what they're putting into dump masters is going to go to rubbish, and they're not expecting people to be jumping in. And so I just want to, you know, like, once that the novelty of dump master is has worn off for you, you know, you want to have something to really fall back on. So I suggest, whilst you're doing it, whilst you're picking up out of dumpsters or off the curbside, is to start looking at trying to pick up more professionally and advertise, and it might take a year or 2 years of advertising until you get a decent amount of customers, you know. So that's fine. So whilst you're dumpster diving, you know, you're building up a few customers here and there, even if you're just getting one a month. You know, by year 2 and year 3, it starts multiplying, and so then you can say, well, I used to be a curbside picker, I used to be a trash picker. Now, you know, I get people ringing me to come and pick up the stuff. It's all ready to go. You just go there and you pick it up and you take it away. And it can get bigger and bigger. You know, I've showed you the surveillance stuff. You know, you can get bigger pickups like that. You know, it's not, you know, in this rare occasion I have to scrap all this stuff out, but most of the time when I pick up this kind of surveillance stuff, I haven't had to scrap it. I sold it. And you know, one pickup that I did of surveillance stuff, I lived off it for about 2 years on eBay. I was doing about, I don't know, about $500 a week just on surveillance stuff. So, you know, I just want to, you know, my channel has always been about just promoting, making extra money and stuff like that. And, you know, sure, I'm trying to have a lot of fun in between, but, you know, the whole idea is to, you know, to help people to make their own money and find their own scrap, and to go from scrapper level up to the next level. And I know that there's quite a few people that have gone up to that next level and are running their own little businesses and stuff. And you know, but there's still big opportunity out there. There's no shortage of e-waste. So I just want to, you know, replant that in the heads of people, that it's not just about going out picking up trash. There is good money to be made on a much more professional level if you go out there and start advertising, and not just advertise, like, you know, you want to actually look at how to set up a small business first. And so you know, when people look at your advertisement, you know, they don't want to say, oh, it's just a guy just trying to get a bit of scrap. You know, you know, you want them to see that, oh, this guy's, you know, he started up a small business. He's got a website. He's professional. You know, he might have a uniform. He might have a sign-written van or a truck, and start, you know, and where they'll take you seriously. And not only will you get their work, but it's like, especially with schools, not only do I get one school, but then I get recommendations, and so I pick up from a lot of schools. And so, yeah, gosh. Now, a few of you are going to comment, God, you talk a lot, man. You know, does this guy ramble on or what? Well, you know, you got to, how else can I say it without actually saying it, you know? So I've got to ramble on sometimes. But I won't ramble on anymore. Keep scrapping, guys. Have fun, and I'll catch you next time.